follow up with after Will and Martin, but I'll give it a shot. So I couldn't just do a normal PowerPoint presentation, so I thought I'd throw together a VR PowerPoint presentation. So it might be a big fail. We'll see how it goes. The only friend I had in the audience was Chris, that I recognise. So Chris has kindly volunteered to come up on stage and be my virtual clicker. And he's just going to look at my slides as I talk.
Hope I don't get distracted.
And you can get distracted, that's okay. Okay, so my name's Peter Koch. I'm the CTO at a Sydney AR and VR company called Augt. We've been going for about 5 years, and we started off mainly doing augmented reality apps. One of the apps we did was the Transformers 3 official AR app for the movie. And back then we were doing kind of bespoke applications for anyone who wanted to do an AR app. We would build them a custom app. And in the last 2 years we've basically built a cloud-based content management system that allows people to download, put their AR and mainly VR content now up into the cloud, and we provide them with an app. We just build them a white label app that they can design themselves, and then they can just update the content on the cloud and release their app out into the wild. We have about 50 apps out there, mainly used by enterprises in property, construction, entertainment, across lots of industries who want to do some VR and get people excited about it. Will's little speech reminded me that like 22 years ago or so I realised exactly what I wanted to do with my life, and that was VR. It was about that long ago that I tried a Western Industries virtuality system that toured Australia, and I think I was like 18 at the time or something, and I spent all my money on, I think it was like $10 for a couple of minutes, and I just kept going back, and I was hooked back then. So I've been waiting patiently for VR to come, building lots of my own headsets, doing lots of augmented reality when that started to come into the market 5 years ago. And now I'm so excited that VR is finally here, and there's so many people here that can actually experience VR. So as well as at Augt, I also have a development blog called talesfromtherift.com. So if anyone wants to get started with Unity development for either Oculus or for Google Cardboard, there's some blog articles out there on how to get started really quickly. If you've never done it at all, you can get started. If you've kind of done a little bit of Unity, then you can learn some tricks on how to do UI and look at things and activate things in your scene. Next slide, clicker. Sorry, Chris. So Oculus, I wish you all could have been there. It was just an amazing event. I tried to count how many people were there. I think there was at least 600. I heard a number being bandied around about 1,500 people there. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case on the keynote day. There was just like a swarm of reporters and everyone in there. But I think during the rest of the 3 days, probably about 600 real developers doing real hardcore stuff were there. I was very lucky enough to get a ticket, so I was rapt to go over. My laptop just makes me that's all. It wakes up, we'll see. What was amazing there was just the breadth of the work people were doing in virtual reality. There was so many software developers trying new things out, such as Will's development, all sorts of medical benefits that people see with VR. There were so many robots. One of the big takeaways was that everywhere you turned, you would bump into someone doing stereoscopic video in panoramas, and there's just an amazing amount of development in that space. And then all sorts of weird hardware, all sorts of light pens and controllers and arms that you could put on and feel things as you touch it. So it's just an incredible event. So I just wanted to sort of share with you like 3 key takeaways from there. And I came away from that event thinking, I've just experienced how we're all going to work in the future. Like maybe it's 5 years from now, but it was very clear that this is the future of how we're going to work in many ways. So I'll go from like my my favourite down to my least favourite, but all exciting. So I don't know how many people have seen the toy box demo that Oculus had at the show, whether you've seen it on YouTube or not. I mean, it's nothing like when you're actually in there. So the big thing about the toy box demo is that you put on the VR headset, and they don't tell you what's going to happen. You put on the VR headset, and this is the first time you get like touch controllers. So you put it on, and you're looking down, you can see your hands. And as you like grip your hands, or as you point, or as you do thumbs up, the virtual hand is doing exactly what your hand's doing. And you've got both hands in there. And you just suddenly feel like you're actually in this space. And then in front of you, there's a desk with all sorts of toys on it. There's blocks, there's robots, there's remote control cars, there's sticks of dynamite, there's a lighter, which is very tempting. There's all this stuff just strewn out on there. And so you think, oh cool, I'm going to get to play with these new touch controllers. And then someone says hello to you, and you go, is this a computer simulation? And then there's a face on the other side of the table with two hands as well. And your first inclination is, oh, is that just my reflection or something? And then it's not, it's someone in the space with you. And then basically you've got about 9 minutes in that virtual space where they're kind of teaching you how to do things. And you're both interacting over this table, and you're basically picking up blocks. And like she said, why don't we build a house? So we started picking up blocks, and she's picking up blocks, and we're building a house like Lego, but both at the same time. And you're kind of walking around and like putting them over there, and you're pushing them. It's an amazing feeling when you're actually collaborating with someone like that in a space. And it's the first time I actually forgot that I was in virtual reality. It was so much fun. We started getting the lighter and lighting explosives and just exploding the houses we're doing, and they're exploding everywhere, and we're making a huge big mess, and then we're both laughing because it's like it's virtual reality, so it's okay. But the real moment in there for me was that at one point the girl I was in there with, she said, here, take this. And she handed me something, and you actually go over and you take it off her, and there's a little vibration that the touch controllers can do, and it's very subtle, but you actually feel like you're touching someone else, and you're picking something out in their hand, and you're bringing it over and using it. And that person could have been anywhere in the world, It turned out that they were like 5 doors down in the same space. But when you do that, you suddenly think, I could do that. My job, I could, do some kind of collaboration with multiple people in a space, and you actually feel like you've done it. So the takeaway I got from that was after I walked out of that space, and they said, come down this way. So I had headsets off, I walked down, they take me into where the lady was, who I was in the space with, and immediately, like we've never met, we've got this connection about all the fun we just did, and unlike anything else I've ever experienced, that was the moment when you actually meet the real person you're in there with, and you then sort of chat about what you just did and the kind of things you could do. And then I went back later on and had another go, and then there's just so much stuff you can do in there. So I heard recently that they said they're going to launch the toy box with their controllers. So that alone is going to be an experience that's going to sell Oculus millions of headsets, I'm sure, into schools and stuff. It's just amazing. The second experience I had was with Oculus Medium. So I had a slide up there, but we're not going to get it back, I don't think. Oculus Medium is, I don't know if you've heard of it, it's a paint program, 3D paint program. And you basically use the controllers in that, but you sculpt. And it's just mind-blowing when you're in there and you've got a bit of putty, and you carve it out, and you prod it in, you sculpt it around, you spray paint it a different colour, you slice it in half, and you sort of twist it around, and you just play in there under the guidance of someone else who's sort of sitting next to you saying, hey, why don't you try and use the knife tool? Why don't you try and use the reflection tool? And I only had I think it was 9 minutes in that. He loves Lego. So I made him a little Lego man. And it was just so much fun. And this is another experience. It's hard to explain and to sort of talk about, but you have to be in there building stuff and then sharing it. So I can just see millions of artists, kids, designing things from scratch in virtual reality, and then being able to share them with their friends, where their friends can come in and look at it and play with it, and then they can probably 3D print it. It's that kind of mesh that you can probably do that with. So that was the second most amazing thing I had there. And then the last one was just the series of touch demos where they showed, well, what can you do with these touch controllers? And I think they had about 10 demos, and I got to play with several of them. One of the famous one is the bullet train, so I won't go into that. You can watch the video of the bullet train one. But my favorite one was this little one called Job Simulator. And you're in the year 2050, you put your headset on, and it whirls you back in time, back to 2015. And they put you in a 2015 office desk, and then that's it. You just have to find a way to simulate work. And you're literally like moving a mouse around on a computer screen, clicking on open email, you're printing out a photo and email onto a printer, and you get it from the printer and you put it into a frame, you put it on the wall, you make yourself a cup of coffee. Getting that you're in a virtual environment, that you're at a desk is doing that kind of stuff. So they were like the key experiences that I got from that. I mean, I could talk for hours about all the other things that they had there, but what it really showed me was that social is the big thing. And if you've got a Gear VR, you can try it in a little way with the social Oculus app that they released about 2 weeks ago, where you can sit with 5 friends and you can watch YouTube and Twitch videos at the moment, but hopefully they'll open up to more videos. And you can do it right now. And you can sit there on the moon or under a mushroom, depending which movie cinema you're in. But sit on the moon, look at the Earth and the horizon, there's a movie playing on the projector, and you're chatting to people around the world in real time. So do that now. If you haven't done that, go and do that tonight. And to finish off, Michael Abrash's speech was probably the most resonant one with me. He's the chief scientist of Oculus. He's very techy, very research orientated, and he went through all the things we've got to overcome to make virtual reality really practical. And he's got like a 20-year timeline out to where like it may get as good as or close to a reality kind of level. But he basically said to everyone at that conference, he said, these are the good old times. It's everyone at the conference, everyone who's here now that's going to make VR really take off, that's going to find how to do motion. So one of the big problems is walking in VR. There's so many problems to be solved, and now is the time. It's the perfect time. You're there for the birth of VR, and everyone who can have an idea can get in and make something happen. So it's so exciting. So thank you very much. That was good.